These are my fiction bookshelves, and I'm going to really quickly show you the things that are still on my to be read. This is my physical TBR. I keep them out like this so that I can actually see which ones have to be read and which ones don't. So at the top, I have my sort of more display ones, and then my Richard Castle books. I actually have only read 2, I think, of the Richard Castle books. So technically 4 of those are on my to be read list as well. So then I have up here, this shelf is my non-Christian romance shelf, and the only book from here is Fake Skating by Lynn Painter, which was a new book that I randomly found. And then also these are, I think, little novellas, but I think I had one of those to read as well. So that was it for that shelf that I haven't read. And the next shelf this is Christian based romance. And I have The Dating Charade by Melissa Ferguson to still read. In Search of a Prince by Tony Shiloh. I loved the other book from this series. So Fiancé Finale by somebody strong. Random pick that I bought and had no idea about. All That Matters, which I have already read the other one as well. Flipping the Script by Aisha Ford. And that's all that's on that shelf that I haven't read yet. The next shelf is sort of one of my YA fantasy shelves, and I have to read the next 2 in the, what series is this? Oh my gosh, I don't know. 1,000 Pieces of You I read, but the next 2 in that series I haven't read yet, and I'm halfway through Heist Royale, which is Thieves Gambit, the second book, and so I have half of that book to read. I am going to change up here because I technically have another YA shelf down there, but just up here for now. This is my Ted Dekker shelf / a little bit of extras here and there that match. So I have to write Rise of the Mystic I still have to read, which is the second one in the Beyond the Circle series. I've read the 49th Mystic already. I have to read Saint, Blessed Child, and Kiss, which are, this one is connected to the Circle series, which I've read, and then these guys are different. And then all of the Heaven trilogy, I haven't read any of those. Ted Dekker and Rochelle Dekker, his daughter, actually did a little series with dragons. I was going to say dinosaurs. With dragons. So I have only read the first 2, so I have to read the rest. They're middle grade, and they're actually really insane for middle grade. Then I also have to finish The Returning by Rochelle Dekker, which is that 3rd in the series. I loved The Choosing so much. It was my favorite. This one's harder for me to get into. Chronicles of Narnia as well. I still have quite a few of those that I haven't read yet. And then I moved down to this shelf, which I think is probably one of the most that I have not read on this shelf. So I have over here A Lineage of Grace by Francine Ribbis, which I loved. This cover was so nice. It was really beautiful. So there's about 4 little shorter stories in there. Sons of Encouragement, also the same. They are both sort of like Bible fiction, so women and men in the scriptures. There's a Bible fiction. Paul, novelized version of his life. Overcomer and Fireproof, the 2 Christian movie book adaptations based on those movies. I also have The Thief of Corinth by Tessa Afshar. I read The Hidden Prince by her and loved that, so I've got this one as well. And then I have pretty much almost all of the Left Behind series I haven't read. I found these at a secondhand store, so thought I may as well, and I've only read the first one. And then you also have the 4 books of this Swipe series, which is sort of like a similar like apocalyptic end of the world rapture type story as well, but I think they're teenagers. So there's that one as well. On this shelf, I have only one Firefly book that I haven't read yet. There's a couple more in the series I've already read, but I don't own. And then I've just got this Brandon Sanderson. It is Tailored Realities. So that's like some of his shorter novellas and things in one book, which is really fun. So I have to read that as well. I haven't read that. I also have majority of the Madoran Chronicles by Lynette Noni that I have to read. Almost all of them. I've only read the first book. Love that series. So much fun. This shelf has no to be read except one, which I've just got recently, which is Counterattack by Patricia Bradley, which I love Patricia's series. I've got the other parts of one of her series, so that is really fun. Everything else on this shelf is read. And then on this shelf, I have sort of more Christian fantasy. So I've got Angel Fall by Colleen Luck, The Gifted by Matthew Dickinson, which I tried to read once and then failed to, but I still have it. The second Fail State book by John W. Oates, and I loved the first one. The second one has zombies, so I'm not sure. Anomaly by Krista McGee. American Omens by Travis Thrasher that also has to get written. I've just got this book for Christmas, The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. That sort of gives me in the Inheritance Games vibes, where she just sort of inherits something and makes no sense and they've got to try and figure it all out. That is really fun. So we'll do that. And then I also have a bunch in this Melanie Dickinson series where she sort of redoes classic fairy tales, but with some, like a Christian idea. So The Merchant's Daughter, which I think is Cinderella, The Fairest Beauty, which is Snow White, The Captive Maiden, I think one of those is Sleeping Beauty, Golden Braid is Rapunzel, and then Warrior Maiden, which is Mulan. On this bottom shelf, majority of this shelf is sort of non-Christian crime. So I still have a bunch of Sherlock Holmes I haven't read. I have 3 Steve Kavanaugh books for some reason, and I have read none of them. So Twisted and 50-50, plus also there's 13 over here. I had 2 Ian Fleming 007 books, Bond books. I still haven't read Live and Let Die because I did not like Casino Royale, so we'll see. And then also Benjamin Stevenson, Fool Me Twice, which is, there's 2 stories in one, so you've got Find Us and last one to leave. I also haven't read this little Veronica Mars that I randomly found at a bookstore as well. Secondhand bookstore. So then I have over here underneath my original YA fantasy shelf, I have Ali Condi. Anyway, the Matched series, I haven't read any of those, and also The Unwedding, which randomly found at a secondhand store. I have to read Icon and Inferno by Marie Lu. I loved Stars and Smoke, so this is sort of the follow-up. The Ruling Class by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I haven't read yet, but I thought that would be really fun to read as well, and I have read everything else on that shelf. And then I come down to this shelf, which is kind of eclectic. There's sort of Christian crime, a random Lois and Clark book, and then I've got sort of like dystopian type YA, I suppose, in sort of like that, and then on that other side is signed copies, so a bunch of signed copies starts where Divergent ends. So Broken by Travis Thrasher, I have not read yet. I have read almost everything else except for Lois and Clark on this shelf, and everything else is read. This last shelf is really unusual because it is sort of like the last shelf of like bits and pieces, and I've read most of what's on this shelf I have not read. So there's some bits and pieces that aren't my favorite things to have there, like, you know, the Defier series by Mandy Fender was not my favorite thing, so it's down on the bottom shelf. Or like I've got the little comic, more comic-y book type things down here. So it's a little bit of a random little shelf with a bunch of stuff, and majority of this is not read. So I would say maybe 2/3 is not read. But yeah, that is my fiction shelves, and that's the physical TBR that I have. So I have a lot of reading to do. Also, I am in the middle of reading a book at the moment, which is Expiration Date by Eric Wilson. That's the book that I've picked up at the moment because I hadn't read that yet. So yeah, that one is also on the list, but I'm in the middle of reading it, so it wasn't on the shelves. So yeah, there you go. That's my physical TBR.